Alright, this is the organized teleporter system for all the mods 9. It's not currently compatible with 10, but hopefully it will be soon. So, what is it? If you haven't seen the Reddit post from a couple of days ago, when I'm recording this, you can select location on a monitor. So, select Venus, for example. If I can click on it, just walk on this rune here, teleport to Venus. And you can also tag locations. So, for example, if I wanted to look at all my locations from Stargate Journey, I believe that's the full name of the mod, and then click View Locations again, we can then go to Chulak. And there we go. So, that's what it does. How does it work? So, I'm going to start from the end and then work backwards from there. So, in this inventory, we have a stable warp scroll. This has location of where I want to go. In order to actually take the stable warp scroll and teleport you there, you have a rune from Ars Nouveau with the spell Touch Blink, which will check for nearby inventories if it's in a rune, and if it sees a scroll, it'll try and teleport you to that location. Not really sure what happens if you have more than one scroll in an adjacent inventory, but I've never tried it, and the system doesn't particularly allow that. So we have this scroll here, and if I select another location, let's say Abydos, the system will swap out the scroll. So all this is for swapping that out. So the computer is running the monitor, obviously, and then it also uses this NBT storage to store all of your tags and a cache of your locations for two reasons. One, performance, and two, um, if you force load a chunk, um, and also if you keep this in a chunk that you don't have force loaded, which is an entirely possible situation, the chunk will still reload. So anytime that happens, the computers will reboot and all of your variables will be lost. So in order to make sure that you can keep your tagging locations, um, or tagging of locations, sorry, safe from chunk reloading, keep all of your information in the NBT storage. It's the way to go. This is from Advanced Peripherals. I believe I've already said that. But if I haven't, that's what's going on. So in order to store all of these scrolls, I've found that the most performant way of the ways I've tested, which is really just against sophisticated storage is netherite chest, was to go with an RS system. So refined storage, for those that don't know, is kind of similar to AE2 in that you can store a bunch of items in a multi-block structure, not like a chest. It's not an inventory in that sense. So yeah, so essentially this RS bridge from Advanced Peripherals will take scrolls stored from here and transfer it over here as necessary. Okay, so that's how the system works. The reason I chose RS over AE2 was because we're storing a lot of unique items, and AE2 disks have a 63 item cap per disk for items, I believe. Well, it's 63 unique items, sorry. Um, which, depending on how many locations you want to store, that might be a problem. RS, not so much. You can store 20K in the setup I've got here, and yeah, try not to chunk ban yourself. I don't know if that's still a problem with RS, but yeah, that's definitely a thing that you used to be able to do. And yeah, so reason for using it over sophisticated storage is that it's just a bunch faster. And I've covered the NVT storage. So yeah, I think that's all that there is for explaining how it works and why I built it the way it is. So let's get into building it. All right, so we're going to start off with the RS inventory where you keep all the scrolls. So let's grab some stuff from refined storage. So if you're not familiar with refined storage, a basic setup will look something like this. So we need a controller. I'm going to use the creative one, but you have to power this yourself in survival. A grid. A disk drive. And a 1K storage disk just to store all the locations, as well as a cable. And so we're going to place them like this for this build. Place the grid here, place the controller here, connect the grid and the controller with a cable, and then go at the very back of the grid, place a disk drive, and then click on this, and then make sure you place the storage disk in here, like so. And that's the RS system. So now I can click on this, and then I could dump stuff in here. We're going to put some stabilized warp scrolls in there later, but not right now. So for the next part, we're going to tie the RS system into the computer. So the way we do that is with an RS bridge. So advanced peripherals, RS bridge. And there we go. We have the ability to, as long as this is a connected peripheral to the computer, we have the ability to access the inventory. Now, let's actually build up the computer network for this. So let's go to advanced. We're going to need a couple of things. We need NBT storage. And then from CC tweaked, we are going to need a computer. Going to need a wired modem. Well, 3 wired modems. Some networking cable. And then finally an advanced monitor. So we're going to place the NBT storage here, computer here, and then the monitor in this 4 wide by 3 tall setup here. Let us not show the fact that this is poorly placed in a chunk. Okay, so we have all this. Then we're going to, actually I'm going to grab the repository first, and we'll tie it all together. Okay, so I'm going to dig down a little bit. And if you're not familiar with computer craft, there's a thing known as a wired network, which allows you to connect more than just the 6 adjacent blocks to a computer, as well as a whole lot of other things, but that's what we care about for our case. So we're going to place it. The way a wired network works is you take a wired modem per thing you want to connect, and then right click on it, and then place a networking cable between all of the things you want to connect. So we're going to place a networking cable, place a wired modem, connect, and you're going to want to note down these names of what peripherals are called. Well, specifically you're going to want to note down what this one's called. Then I'm going to right click. We're going to cover this back up. And we're going to add the code. So actually, before we do that, gotta add the rune on top of the repository. So the way that works, you get some spell parchment and Archmage's spell book and some runic chalk. Place the spell parchment on the scribe's table. Then you create a spell of form touch and effect blink. I'm gonna call the spell teleport. Then you shift right click to set the spell. Grab that. You shift right click to get the chalk on the repository and just right click to set the spell. And just check towards works. I'm gonna walk onto it and it teleports me. Now I also need a source jar in order to, keep it everything refreshed. Okay, so we have the standard build now. Now we just need to add the code, and I will be back for that. All right, so we're going to, sorry, give me a second to adjust my mic. We're going to download the code for this onto your local computer and then into the Minecraft computer craft computer, or CC Tweaked as it is now. So you're going to go to github.com/astrosphere/organized-teleporter. Link will be in the description. Then you're going to go to the refined storage branch, which is over here. If you don't know what a branch is, don't worry about it. Just go click on that button, click on code, click download zip, and then unzip it somewhere. Now I've already done all that. So I have this main.lua here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it onto Minecraft. It's going to transfer. And there we go. It's on the computer craft computer. Alright, so after we've transferred that file, what we're going to want to do next is we're going to want to make sure the code runs on startup. So what we're going to do is run move main.lua to startup.lua. And then we have one line of code to change. So TP inventory name needs to be whatever the actual name of the peripheral is for this wired modem. So if we quickly right click on it, it's Ars Nouveau repository 5. So I'm just going to quickly edit that. Control save, Control exit. Then we just reboot the computer. And there we go. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is rename a bunch of scrolls or stabilized warp scrolls in an anvil and make sure they have the locations that you want. I've already done that, so I'm just going to dump them into the inventory here. Then I'm going to type in the command refresh locations. And now, theoretically, we can just use the system. So if I click on bathhouse and walk over, teleport to the bathhouse. Neat. Now, let's grab warpstone so we can return quickly. Now let's go to our test setup here. Now, we only have one tag right now, so if we go to view tags, we only have the all tag. So let's add one. So let's create a tag. Let's call it add Astra. And then let's tag some locations as add Astra. So we're going to do tag add Astra. Then we're going to do, let's say, Venus. Now, while the tag complete is case sensitive, I've done my best to make the rest of this case insensitive. So if you type in, tag location. Like that, it should still work. If you type in add Astra, it should still work. But you also have to make sure that the location exists. So let's do that just to demonstrate. Location. You do have to get the spacing right, though. Seed moon. There we go. And then if we do set the current tag to add Astra, and then list locations, we have both of those. So sick. So now we can select the alt tag, select the add Astra tag, select locations, and then teleport using them. So that's how the system works. And yeah, hope you get a kick out of this in your world and that you find it useful.